Welcome to SUTV's Pardon Our Take. I'm Colton Warren.
I'm Kurt Meekum.
And I'm Aaron Peterson. Today we have hockey, MLS soccer, NBA All-Star Weekend, college basketball, and a preview of baseball. Don't go anywhere.
Well, shoot, we didn't cut that out.
Women's hockey, Canada in the
Their fifth straight
U.S. was
Olympic
looking
gold
for their
medal
first
in
gold
women's
since
hockey.
1998, while the Canadians were in search of their fifth consecutive gold medal. With the U.S. up 1-0, Haley Irwin evened the score on the batted floater. Then midway through the second period, Marie-Philippe Paulin gave Canada the lead. Desperation time for the U.S. when Monique Lamoureux-Mirandou finds the top shelf following the American line change. The goal would lead to overtime and eventually a shootout. Lamoureux-Davidson gave the U.S. the lead and left Canada with one last chance. The U.S. finally ended the streak and claimed the gold.
Must beat Rooney to keep Canada's hopes alive. She is stopped! The United States wins
98. After the game, Monique Lamoureux-Mirandou tells us the secret behind her twin sister's nifty move on the shootout goal.
Last 4 years, one of our coaches, Peter Elander, has worked on that move with us. It's called Oops, I Did It Again. So she did Oops against Russia, and then she did it again against Zabados there. So I've seen it a handful of times, and it usually works every time.
You know, Aaron, it's a bit strange. There were no NHL players there at the Olympics this year because they said they couldn't go. Do you think that's why the men's team didn't do too well?
Well, I think that it had an impact on the Olympics as a whole, but I don't think it affected the U.S. any more than any other team because the other countries couldn't use their professionals either. So it was just a underperformance, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely have to agree. And also, do you think that the NHL is going to allow NHL players back into the Olympics before the next Olympics?
I think, well, the main issue the NHL has with their players being used is that it interrupts their season.
Oh, yeah.
And as long as that's the case, I think they'll have a hard time bending over for that one.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that as well.
Fair enough. The MLS season is right around the corner, and to help us take a look at the local Real Salt Lake team, we are now joined by our MLS reporter, Fernando Lopez. Fernando, how has the preseason been going for RSL?
Preseason for Real Salt Lake has been going fairly well as of recently. They got a 3-1 win over the LA Galaxy and a 1-1 draw over, against San Jose. Two teams in the Western Conference, which they will end up playing this season quite a few times. They did suffer a defeat to Orlando, 4-2, but they're a team they're not too worried about right now since they're playing in the Eastern Conference. And their last preseason game will be tonight against New York City Football Club.
So when does the season start? You said the preseason ends tonight. When does the season start for RSL?
The season for Real Salt Lake is going to start on March 3rd, where they'll play away against FC Dallas.
What players are going to play a large role on this team?
Well, Real Salt Lake just signed a new forward, Alfredo Ortuño, from Spain. He has 17 goals in 40 appearances in the second division in Spain, so we're looking to get a couple more goals from him this upcoming season because Real Salt Lake really need a true striker, someone that he is.
True. What key players left this year?
So this season, Chris Wingert just retired, announced his retirement on Monday.
He's the defensive guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Outside fullback. 14 seasons in the MLS and 10 seasons with Real Salt Lake. So he's hanging up his boots, calling it quits. Sad to see him go, but we got a lot of young guys in the defense who are ready to take the challenge and step up.
Yeah, I mean, after being there for that long, you said 10 seasons?
10 seasons with Real.
Yeah, that would definitely be ready to hang up his cleats there. So, last thing, there's one. I've heard this is a rumor. Is there another team coming to Utah here soon?
There is. Football Club Kansas has ceased operations, and Real Salt Lake owner Deloy Hansen has been approved to launch a women's team here in Utah. The team will be known as Utah Royals FC.
That's taking place in Salt Lake.
Yep.
Then.
Yeah, they'll share the same stadium with the men's team at Rio Tinto.
Nice.
What special players should I look out for if I were to go to a Royals game?
We got 3 key players. Here we got one, Kelly O'Hara scoring a goal against Germany in the World Cup back in 2015. Becky Sauerbrunn, Amy Rodriguez, and Kelly O'Hara, 3 women who have won the 2015 World Cup and also the 2012 Olympics gold medal.
Nice.
Well, it sounds like they have some good players. When does their season start? Is it with the USL season or during the time they're off?
So the women's team season will start later on in the month. On March 24th, they will start away at Orlando Pride.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it sounds like an exciting time, especially for Utah, getting in a women's team, and an exciting time for RSL as well. Well, Fernando, thank you very much for joining us here today. And this, I really want to go see a Real Salt Lake game.
Let's go.
Soccer game now. Holy cow, man, I can't even talk today. Yeah, you pay for the tickets, I'll pay for the gas.
Sounds good.
All right.
You got it.
All right.
Coming up next on Pardon Our Take, we'll take a look at the biggest events of the NBA All-Stars weekend. Stay tuned.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. Since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
This year's Verizon Slam Dunk Contest featured Utah Jazz rookie guard Donovan Mitchell, Dallas Mavericks rookie guard Dennis Smith Jr., Indiana Pacers Victor Oladipo, and Cleveland Cavaliers forward Larry Nance Jr. The first round was full of explosive dunks, costumes, and tributes. Nance Jr. wore his father's jersey, while Oladipo represented the fictitious Wakanda and wore a Black Panther mask. Smith Jr. took flight with a 360 between the legs dunk and was awarded the first perfect score of 50 on the day. However, that was not enough for the young rookie to make it to the next round. Oladipo would join Smith Jr., Nance Jr., and Mitchell into the second round. Nance Jr. had the help of his father for his next dunk, while Mitchell and his sister joined Kevin Hart. Both scored high, and it all came down to the final two dunks. Nance Jr. pulled off a double tap off the glass dunk that scored 50, forcing Mitchell to score at least 46 to win. That is when Mitchell took off his Utah jersey to represent current Kings guard Vince Carter. Mitchell ended up winning the contest with a score of 98, while Nance Jr. had 96. What were some of your favorite dunks?
You know, for me, it was the double tap dunk by Larry Nance. First off, that's just amazing what he did. You could tell that people didn't really know what was going on. Like, they thought it was a simple dunk, but then the replay showed the crowd, as well as the judges, that, hang on, he actually did something that's pretty hard and takes a lot of concentration to do. So, for me, it was my favorite dunk. Mitchell still deserved to win the contest, but Nance had the best dunk of the night.
Yeah, and I feel Smith Jr., even though he wasn't even in the top two, definitely one of the best dunks with the in-between-the-legs twist,
it was
different
nice.
hands.
It was a nice dunk.
Switching hands throughout the middle of that, I thought that was overall one of the best dunks throughout the contest, to be honest. And then what about you?
I personally liked Mitchell jumping over his sister, but I would hate to be the sister. I would be a little nervous, but I think I can trust Donovan.
I mean,
do you think he's done that before? Like, said, "Hey, Jordan, just come on out and let me jump over you when I dunk."
He's had to have practiced that, I swear, because that man, like, I know he's tall and I know he can jump well, but to be honest, I would have been scared if I was a sister. So,
yeah. All right. Well, this year's All-Star break was slightly overshadowed by another sports versus politics controversy. In an interview segment with the Uninterrupted, LeBron James and Kevin Durant commented on President Trump, with James explicitly claiming that the president does not care about the people, and Durant saying that the country, quote, is not ran by a good coach. Fox News anchor Laura Ingraham told James and Durant to, quote, shut up and dribble, while also claiming the commentary to be barely intelligible. James responded with an Instagram post showing the words, "I am more than an athlete," as well as saying that that Ingram's comments would have been the same as telling Jackie Robinson to shut up and slide into home base. We are now joined by our reporter Grace Schultz to help us break this down a bit. Grace, what do you make of this whole thing?
Well, it's really interesting. I think it's something we've seen a lot, but Ingram has gotten a lot of heat, since coming out, since her commentary saying that she was being pretty racist. And she says, of course, no, I'm not, but really her argument wasn't an argument. What she was trying to say was not, she wasn't arguing with what Durant and James were saying about Trump. She was arguing with how they were saying it. She was saying they don't sound smart, they don't speak with perfect grammar, therefore their opinion is invalid, they're unintelligent. And that really is a pretty racist argument to be making, to say that just because they don't sound exactly like her, we shouldn't take them seriously. And then also, she made the mistake of not even fact-checking herself. At one point in the interview, she says, maybe this, and she's referring to LeBron, will be a warning to kids about what happens when you leave high school early. Obviously, LeBron didn't leave high school early, so you want to make sure you're double-checking if you're going to make that, that strong of an assertion. And also, saying that LeBron James is not a role model is really contradictory to me. He's widely regarded as maybe the best player of all time. He makes $30 million a year, Any kid with an ounce of athletic talent wants to be LeBron James. True. I want to be LeBron James. Yeah. So I think, at best her comments come off as ignorant. At worst, they come off as both racist and ignorant of the kind of stuff that LeBron and Durant have achieved.
Okay. So how do you think this compares to the whole Colin Kaepernick situation?
Well, I think they're really similar, obviously, because you're hearing a lot of the same stuff. You're hearing you're hearing people say, what they said to Kaepernick was shut up and kick. It's not your job to have a political opinion. The difference here, though, I think, is that Kaepernick made the decision to become an advocate. LeBron was asked a political question. He gave a political answer. But Kaepernick said, no, I want to take a stand on this issue. Nobody asked him to do that. He just did. And I think it also says a lot about the NBA and the NFL, because Haven't seen Kaepernick play since then, but I don't think anybody thinks that LeBron James is not going to be re-signed. Nobody's saying, oh, LeBron James is out of a job.
Yeah, no kidding.
Definitely not going to happen. So obviously a commentary there on the NFL's culture and the way that they see athletes.
And these people have cameras on them probably 24 hours in a day. So is it their right to give political opinions to those cameras when they have the spotlight?
I think absolutely. I don't think it's a question, you know, of whether or not athletes should get to express their political opinion. And we've seen it. We've seen the criticism before of not just athletes but celebrities as well. And I think it's invalid every time. Athletes are American citizens living in this country underneath Donald Trump's policies. They have a right to these opinions, and it just so happens that they have a platform that the rest of us don't have, which perhaps makes it even more important that they speak out when we don't. Because, you know, there is no difference between me and LeBron James, except for the inherent differences between me and LeBron James. But really, LeBron James, both of us have valid political opinions, and LeBron James gets to sit in front of a camera 7 days a week, and if he expresses them then, that's fantastic. That's really incredible. And it's, you know, I shut up and whatever is such a fallacy. It's such a, you can say that to anyone. And I'm curious to know what Ingram would say to those kids in Florida right now who suddenly have all these cameras on them. Shut up and go back to the school where 17 of your peers and teachers were shot? No, of course not, because this is their moment. They're in the spotlight. They get to advocate for a political opinion. Why wouldn't you let them in this moment? And LeBron gets that chance every day. And it doesn't make him any less, he's just, just because he is especially good at basketball doesn't mean he's never seen CNN. It doesn't mean he doesn't know what's going on in the world. And I think there's an assumption that athletes or celebrities are somehow ignorant and don't deserve to weigh in just because they also are making $30 million a year doing something that I personally cannot do at all. So.
LeBron James, overall, one of the best basketball players that the NBA has possibly ever seen. Showing that he has a voice, I think, would actually show kids, you know, to look up to him more than they actually did before, as him being the best, you know, basketball player in the NBA. So.
Yeah, and his statement I thought was really well put together. You know, I mean, he played it a little low and pretended like he didn't know her, which is fair because her criticism of him was a little low ball. She wasn't arguing with LeBron. She was arguing with the way LeBron speaks, and so he shot back at her, and I think that's acceptable, and really was super well spoken in that moment, and really showed kids that you can be as talented as he is and still have a voice and still make a difference, which I think is really important.
Yeah. All right. So soon are we going to see another tweet from President Donald Trump?
Oh, surely.
About this issue?
No,
okay.
Always. You can always count on the president to tweet when you least expect it.
Exactly.
I like that. Well, Grace, thanks for joining us today to help us break down this interesting fiasco, I think is the only way to put it. But when we come back, we will take a look at the new Big 3 League as well as dive into some college basketball. Stay tuned.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
Travel is part of the American way of life.
When we're on vacation, we keep an eye out for anything that looks out of place.
Miss your bag.
When we travel from city to city, we pay attention to our surroundings.
Everyone plays a role in keeping our community safe.
Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, be aware of your surroundings. If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Rapper Ice Cube's new basketball league, the Big Three, continue to sign big names. For its second season, the Big Three will include three-time slam dunk champion Nate Robinson, former #1 overall pick Greg Oden, six-time All-Star Amari Stoudemire, two-time All-Star Baron Davis, former Chicago Bull Tyrus Thomas, and NBA Hall of Fame guard Allen Iverson in its second season of play. The league is also seeing success in broadcasting as Fox Sports has agreed to live stream the games on Friday nights when the season starts on June 22nd, instead of airing the games on a time delay like last season. What are some of the main rules for the Big Three that are different from the NBA?
Well, Colton, the main thing is one thing fans in the NBA have been wanting. There's 3 4-point spots that are about 30 feet out, and so you can get 4 points. Free throws, if you shoot a 3 and get fouled, you shoot 1 free throw. If you make it, it's 3 points. Halftime is when one team hits 30. It's a game to 60 and a win by 2. So it's kind of like a playground rule, and it also feeds into the whole, like when you go play on the playground, you have to check the ball. If the ball doesn't hit the rim or you steal it or block it, you can just go ahead and shoot the ball if you're on defense and get the ball.
I feel like this is a televised Globetrotters.
It is, and but it seems really fun. I mean, Aaron, I'm sure that you remember watching AI just dominate the league. It was fun, and now he's playing for some random team down in Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great.
Yeah, he can still showcase his amazing ability despite being retired from the NBA.
I don't think he's going to practice, though, ever. All right. Move on.
College basketball is nearing the end of its regular season, with March Madness set to begin in only a couple weeks. According to ESPN's Joe Lunardi, the current #1 seeds would be Virginia, Villanova, Kansas, and Xavier. Other notable high seeds are Michigan State, Duke, Purdue, Auburn, and Wichita State. So, Kurt, who do you think is the team to take this year in March Madness?
I really think that Michigan State is going to win the whole thing. They have a very complete team. It's a young team, but complete. They've got Miles Bridges and Cassius Winston. Bridges is averaging 17 points and 7 rebounds. Winston gets 12 points and 7 assists a game. And Winston is also getting like 54% of his threes to fall. So they're playing good. They're 28th in the nation in scoring, and they play in the Big Ten, so that helps out a lot. They have really good wins, and they have really good losses to Duke and Ohio State. And plus, they're having a lot of controversy right now with the Larry Nassar case that's over the school, but I really do think they're going to win the whole thing. Colton, who do you think is going to go the distance?
I'm going to actually have to go with Villanova or Purdue. Those are actually my top two.
They are good teams.
As you were talking about the wins for Michigan State, like even just so watching Michigan State right now, it looks like they're having fun. They're playing big, playing huge, and I would have to agree with that. But there's also got to be a little conflict here. So Villanova and Purdue. I mean, let's see. It's Purdue's 7-2 big man Isaac Hayes is a machine right now, and just his team overall in the threes, they're shooting over 40% for all of their threes, which I mean I know isn't the best, but could be better. But I am really looking forward to watching Purdue, Michigan State, and Villanova just go at it.
Yeah, and I mean to add to the case for Purdue, they did take the Spartans to the wire. Purdue barely lost that game. I'm sure we saw it here a bit ago, but Bridges had to hit a 3 in order to actually have that game won for Michigan State. Aaron, real quick, who's a team you think of?
I'm thinking Virginia is the team to watch. Based off their defense, they say defense wins championships, and they've only allowed 52 points a game.
That's not a lot.
Wow. Yeah.
And they have the guard trio of Kyle Guy, Devin Hall, and Ty Jerome that are leading the way, that all average double digits.
All right. Should be a fun time come March. I'll have my brackets all set.
Hopefully I get to win $1 million this year, right?
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Coming up next on Pardon Our Take, we'll tell you about 3 teams we think can win the World Series. Don't go anywhere.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
For 3 months, I was being treated for high blood pressure and migraines, which were actually the symptoms. The cause was kidney disease. If you were a member of one of those high-risk groups, I would have your kidney function checked. Early detection can prevent further kidney damage. It was amazing even to my doctor how much diet impacted my personal disease. The power to reduce risk for kidney disease is in your hands. I just feel that my whole life has come back to me.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. If you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
After a rough 2017 campaign, the Giants are primed for a bounce-back season. Mixing veteran leadership with the new additions of Andrew McCutchen and Evan Longoria, I fully expect them to be a contender this season. Longoria is a .270 career hitter with 261 home runs and 892 RBI. McCutchen owns a .291 career average with 203 home runs and 725 RBI. Three-time Gold Glover, Longoria has amassed a .968 fielding percentage over 10 seasons. McCutchen has a .988 fielding percentage and has thrown out 64 base runners in 9 seasons. Last season, Longoria hit .261 with 20 home runs and 86 RBI, while McCutchen posted a .279 average and 88 RBI. Both acquisitions will join Buster Posey, Brandon Belt, Hunter Pence, and more to solidify the Giants' lineup this season.
Billy Epler has armed the 2018 Angels with lots of weapons on both offense and defense for this 2018 season. With superstar Mike Trout leading the charge, the Angels will look to return to the playoffs after an absence for 3 years. Few players to focus on, again, Mike Trout, Justin Upton, Albert Pujols, and Shohei Ohtani. Estimated running average isn't as good as Garrett Richards, but still is one of the best the Angels has ever had. Going back to Justin Upton, coming over from Detroit, I mean, he's looking really good right now. So, and then,
I'm excited for that. But as much of a chance as both those teams have, I think the Yankees have got a really good shot this year. They've got Giancarlo Stanton to join Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez. Aaron Boone is the new skipper for him. And, I mean, Aaron, I'm sorry, but Sanchez, Judge, and Stanton, they all hit more home runs than the Giants did all of last year.
But was Longoria and McCutchen on the Giants last year?
They didn't hit a lot of home runs. And even
they both hit almost 30 each. That's 60 more home runs to the Giants lineup this season.
But even with those 48 more home runs, it's still more. Well, no, it's more, but even one guy, just not. It's not quite enough.
The Giants have the experience.
They do, and
the postseason pitching.
And the last time the Yankees had a lot of players, they did choke and not make the playoffs. But they are a really good team. They have a history of winning, and I do think that they're going to be real good. To have power like that is really important. They're going to score a lot of runs, but their pitching is really where their strength is. They have a very deep rotation. CC Sabathia is back for him. They've got Sonny Gray. Tanaka is very much improved from his 12 and 14 season. Each of those pitchers had less than a 4.0 ERA. Each one struck out at least 120 batters. I mean, the Yankees are deep everywhere. And Brett Gardner is going to do good for him. And the main question is going to be with Aaron Boone and if he can get this team organized the right way in his first year. But
it's not too hard to organize when you can just put guys that are going to hit 50 home runs in your lineup back to back to back.
Yeah.
It's true, but so we'll see what the Yankees can do, but I do like what the Giants have been doing, and I really love what the Angels have been doing. To have Pujols and the Ohtani guy.
Yeah, bringing in Ohtani over from Japan.
Yeah, because he'll pitch and play in the field.
Okay.
But
yeah,
it should be fun.
Yeah, should be a great season.
That's all we have for you today. I'm Aaron Peterson.
I'm Kurt Meekum.
And I'm Colton Warren. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday at 4 o'clock for SUTV News.